I'm flying across the country, then flying back in 2 days.
Jeez, is it for a job?
It is for a job, yes.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about it right now, but it is for my job.
Okay.
No, that's fine. If you're not sure, it's best not to.
Yep.
Yeah. NDAs and all that stuff.
NDAs, NBAs, and S2E05s. I was just throwing out letters and numbers there. I have no idea what that means. If it's some secret government code, please don't come after my house.
It's okay. If it were a secret government code, it would be a secret government code for my government. You're in a different country. Safe.
Nice. Oh god. Okay, I just realized something really important. My level 19 fishing or gathering shoes are Crocs. They are. This is awful.
Horror exists.
Yes.
Alright, so, do you have a couple of topics besides the main one that we're going to talk about? Because I'm pretty sure what's on everybody's mind for today. So what's coming up tomorrow?
Yep. Fortunately, I won't get to play it on the day itself, but...
Dang.
That's fine. I'm sure I'll find plenty of things to talk about. I'm not really worried about, oh no, I'm not getting it exactly on release day. I'm still going to have plenty of time to gamble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, don't worry. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? It's going to be like, oh no, you weren't here within the first 20 minutes. Noob, GTFO. Like,
yeah,
that's most of the time.
Yeah, and most like mini games are just occupied by people, so you can't really use them. No.
Nah. I will never be able to get into a progression gambling shell.
Nice.
How do you progressive gamble?
Progression gambling.
Oh, God. You know what's going to make it worse? I'm going to put money on it now. Watch that something to do with the next stage of relic upgrades going to involve something in the gold saucer, possibly win X number of games with your weapon equipped.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
No, the next stage of your relic quest is going to be do all the other stages of your relic quest again.
Ooh.
Over and over.
Oh, that would be murder. Oh,
Yep.
That'd be terrible.
Yep.
Alright, so give me a second here, and I will cue up our intro, and then we will go into the episode. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Chocobo Dash. I'm one of your hosts, Nell Celestine.
I'm your other host, Elliot Lefebvre.
And joining us today is a special guest. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Hey guys, my name is Backlog Battle Alex. A lot of people call me Backlog or Alex. I am a Twitch streamer, and I recently just started building a Final Fantasy XIV community on Twitch. So it's basically like, we call it kind of like Final Fantasy Friday. And yeah, I can tell you more about it if you guys want, but I'm going to stop right there.
No, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about that before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's episode.
Okay, so the way that Final Fantasy Friday kind of started was I normally like play other video games and stuff, and I dedicate the rest of my week towards that, and I stream a lot of it and to completion. So one day, like sometime in like October and November, I decided, you know what, like I'm gonna try to stream Final Fantasy XIV every Friday, just kind of like a cyclical thing and stuff. And it started growing into just maybe one or two people streaming it on the same server, and then all of a sudden became like 3 people, and now it's up to about like 10. which is kind of crazy. And we're all like on the same team speak. So, and the whole idea behind it is that, if you look at Twitch and the landscape of, like Twitch streamers for Final Fantasy XIV in general, there's not a lot of people who actually play with each other that stream together. So I wanted to kind of create not just a community of streamers, but also a community of people that included our viewers and other streamers on the same server, just kind of playing together and going through the progression of the game and helping each other out. So, because I feel like one of the strongest things about Final Fantasy XIV is its community. So why not actually, represent it somehow on Twitch? So that's kind of like the gist of it.
No, that makes sense to me. I actually stream Final Fantasy XIV a lot, and most of my link shell usually hops on the Skype call with me and we do content together, but I'm the only one of our group that does any kind of streaming out of it.
I see.
But, yeah, like, you and I talked for a while now, and you wanted to get on the show for a little bit, and what better opportunity than just before a patch, right?
I know. Yep. I can't wait for this patch. It's so excited.
Elliot, why don't you take us into the patch?
Well, big thing we got for this patch is obviously that we're all getting another stage of the Relic Weapon quest. That's all this one, right? That's
I'm gonna say this one, at least for the first time in a very long time, I'm actually caught up on that thing.
Wow. I am actually barely halfway through my Atma books. So I can't even think about that. And I have Novus to look forward to, with my 75. I don't even remember what's, the actual terminology is, because I've been trying to avoid thinking about it over the past several months. But I have to face the music at some point.
I think the one part of the Relic quest that scared the absolute crap out of me is it tells you, hey, look, you're going to have to convert your current relic into materia, and it's a 1.4% chance.
Ooh.
And I was like, no, you can't be serious.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure they're not, but oh my god, I almost, I was like, I really don't want to risk this.
Yeah.
Please look forward to it.
Yes.
I joked before the show that we were going to have to do the whole thing. That's going to be how it goes. You're just, in order to get your next relic stage, you just have to do all the other stages again.
Oh no!
Right from the beginning.
No.
Over and over.
Oh god.
That's just terrible.
But the real centerpiece, as far as anyone is concerned, is the Gold Saucer, specifically the Manderville Gold Saucer. There may be a competing Gold Saucer which launches at a later time.
We don't really know that, do we?
No, they've not said anything about it, but it's always possible. We could also have,
Yeah, but it will never be as good as Godbert. Godbert Mandeville. Oh my god, my stream loves him. Absolutely loves him.
Everyone loves Godbert. That's just the default.
But yes, the Manderville Gold Saucer is going to be the centerpiece of the patch that's going live tonight. We're recording this a day in advance, but the patch will be going live essentially tonight from when this episode is released.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I have to say, I'm impressed already.
Yeah. There is going to be a lot of stuff to do. I've talked about some of it. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be here on patch day, so as I also mentioned before we recorded, I'm not going to be able to get in on the progression gambling community. I'm going to be forever behind.
Yeah, you get in that progression gambling community. You get first in line for those machines.
I play winner.
Speaking of playing winners, I'm looking forward to Triple Triad.
Honestly, I feel like I'm one of the few people who's not looking forward to Triple Triad, and that it doesn't really have much to do with the fact that Final Fantasy VIII is a terrible game. More to do with just the fact that, as cool as Triple Triad is, it's competing against Chocobo Racing.
Yeah, I agree. I'm actually looking forward to Chocobo Racing more than Triple Triad myself. And again, it doesn't speak anything bad about you know, like the Triple Triad card game as a collectible card game, and you know, kind of like a meta game in Final Fantasy 14 in general. But it just seems to me like I'm more anxious to see like what kind of like cool stuff you can win from actually doing the Chocobo races. Because I mean, you know, it just seems like the Triple Triad. It's like, yeah, you get more cards, great, and it kind of stops there, right?
Yeah.
Well, we don't know if it's going to stop there or what have you, but I'm interested in the Chocobo racing as well. But I am super, super ecstatic that they decided to come out and basically say, no, the Setzer outfit is not gender locked, and they showed off both genders wearing it in the most recent screenshots.
Thankfully, that was one of those. I don't know if that was a last-minute change or if it was, you know, something that had always been planned. But the idea of having Setzer's outfit be gender-locked was a really, really dumb one.
So I do have a question about that. Like, where did this thing start? Because I was always under the impression that it was never going to be gender locked.
Well, there was two reasons for this. First off, when they showed the screenshots for it originally, they had male-only characters wearing the Setzer outfit, which wouldn't have been so bad, but then they turned around and showed females only wearing the bunny outfits.
I see.
And then recently, apparently, Yoshi popped up on one of the servers and was answering a few questions, and there's a Reddit thread on there translating them, and he said, or at least according to the Reddit translation, which I have to take with a grain of salt because, as we all know, I love our translators, but they're not official translators, so they might have missed something, but it sounded like when he was talking on there that they were gender locked at that time period.
Specifically, the translation that we got was the Setzer outfit will be male exclusive. My guess about the translation was that what Yoshida was saying was the Setzer outfit will be the only outfit for men. Because the bunny outfit is also gender locked, which is also unfortunate, but...
Okay.
Let's hope that they come out with more character-specific outfits that both genders can wear, as well as more outfits in general for both genders.
And even more than the Setzer outfit, I can't believe I'm saying that, but even more than I'm looking forward to the Setzer outfit, I'm looking forward to the fact that we are finally, with the Gold Saucer, getting town clothes.
Yes, oh my god, there are so many outfits when the game first launched. I was like, I can't wait to craft that. I can't wait to get that. I can't wait to wear that. It's been 18 months. Why can't I wear this yet?
No, it looks real. And the clothes look good, and I'm very interested to see like what the slot requirements are. I can think of several armor sets I'd love to glamour those onto.
I certainly hope that every single one of those town clothing pieces are all jobs. I really do.
I would be surprised if they weren't, honestly. I'm wondering if they'll be dyeable.
They look like they're all just cloth, and cloth is pretty much wearable by any class at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, like most vanity pieces are wearable by all classes. Most pure vanity pieces.
Sadly, my fisherman hat is not.
I'm gonna refrain from actually talking about my fisherman outfit now because, as again pre-show, I just discovered that my character is wearing Crocs. So yeah, I'm hanging my head. It's like,
but are you also wearing your fedora?
No, because I'm at a level right now in my fisherman where it's like one of those like helmets that kind of enclose your face and your hair and stuff. It's kind of this weird, yeah, like almost, yeah. I will refrain from describing it, but you guys know what I'm talking about.
Oh, it's an Elmo.
Yeah.
But you could be wearing your Crocs and your fisherman's fedora.
Oh dear.
Cote.
What an idea.
Girls say they want a nice guy, but then they just run off with Roban. Moving on. Other than the rewards, also we'll get to ride a dungeon boss, so that's cool. But other than the rewards, let's talk about the actual games that we know we're getting in the Gold Saucer. And let's start with Triple Triad because Nell, you're the one who's most excited about that one.
Well, I'm looking forward to it because out of all the extra mini games that came out since 7, because if you've noticed in 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12, there was mini games that you could play on the side of the main game. I wasn't overly a huge fan of a lot of the ones in 7, but we are getting some of them. 8's Triple Triad card game. I have always been a fan of card games, and I won't say all of them, because if you follow my Twitter feed, you know that I don't seem to grasp Card Against Humanity or this new Exploding Kittens craze. But strategy-based card games like Magic the Gathering and stuff always interested me, and Triple Triad just was an extension of that for Final Fantasy.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see,
It doesn't have stupid, crazy rules that change for no apparent reason, like freaking Tetramaster.
Oh, yeah.
Also, it's actually integrated into the game as opposed to Final Fantasy XI and Tetramaster.
Yeah, nobody played Tetramaster because everyone was logged into 11. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Well, we could spend an entire episode talking about why Play Online was the most idiotic thing that has ever been.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that bad. It was just
yes,
there was no support for it.
It was that bad, and it was actually, you're right. It wasn't that bad. It was significantly worse, but I was being polite. I don't think you can bleep me in this recording. So.
No, not live, but post editing I can. So yeah.
But it's going to be interesting to see. I'm curious about, because we know that you can win more cards, and we know that gold saucer points are awarded for victories. I'm curious to see if that also extends to playing between players, because obviously, I'm hoping that that's not the case, because I like the idea that Triple Triad matches are something you could play out, like if you're just standing and waiting in a dungeon and tank's AFK, you want to play a quick match or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be interesting to see.
I'm not sure, but I'm assuming that if they're going to have a play for cards, it's going to be an option available for between other players, like something you could opt into or opt out of before you start the match.
We know that you won't lose cards to other players, but we have not yet been told whether or not we'll lose cards to NPCs.
Oh.
Now, the one thing that does also concern me is they said that they were going to make cards available as drops in the game. I'm kind of concerned that, all the best cards are going to drop from all the highest tier raids, which means people who want to just enjoy the card game are going to be destroyed by people who don't really enjoy the card game but raid.
I was actually under the impression that, the higher tier cards would be available based off of the fact that you're, the difficulty of the NPC that you're getting. So, for example, I want to say that Rowena is actually one of those, high tier, Triple Triad players and stuff. And she's, I think it was mentioned that she would actually have some of the rarer cards. So that's kind of like how they're tying it up. So I would guess that a lot of the lower tier cards would probably appear as drops during dungeons, and I'm not sure how they're going to do the raid part of it, though.
I'm just hoping that the raid cards aren't exclusive to raids and just more available there as options or something.
Yeah, I think as long as there are multiple methods of acquiring it. See, one of the issues that the game has always had, the game loves random drops, and of course the problem with randomness is that it's, random. There's no way to really work it out or predict what's going to happen next. And in the case of having random card drops, as cool as that can be, it also creates a situation where I have to run Ifrit Extreme again because I still haven't gotten my Ifrit card. But if you have multiple means of acquiring it, for instance, you could get it as a drop or you could win it from an NPC, that kind of neatly takes care of the issue. If you're dedicated to the game, you can advance yourself and you can advance your decks no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'd be all for, being able to work on my deck without requiring me to raid, because it's not like... It would be like saying, hey, look, if you want to level your Chocobo for Chocobo racing, you need to do Alexander hard mode.
Wow.
You see where that problem comes up there, right? It'd be
Rocket boosters for your bird.
It's like, oh, look, you wanna race in... Chocobo racing. Oh, you better be the top tier in-game raider. No. That kind of stuff needs to be not necessarily separate, but have alternate means of acquisition.
That's basically the case for everything in the game, but we've had that talk before.
Yeah. It's just, this is a lot more casual content, so that's why it shouldn't be raid centric, so to speak.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Chocobo racing since you brought it up there.
Mm-hmm.
We know it's going to be there are going to be multiple courses. We know it's going to be only. It looks like it's only going to be against other players, so it's going to be sort of a cute thing. So essentially PvP without the actual punching each other.
I could see this being very good or very bad already. This will be probably insanely popular for the first week or two, and then cuts down to only the super enthused.
I don't know though. It depends on a few things. It depends on how much work you need to do to get the various rewards from the Gold Saucer, because we know that Triple Triad and the Chocobo Racing are the two centerpieces, and we know that you need Gold Saucer points to get all those nice rewards. So I guess it depends how much do people want from the Gold Saucer, how long does it take to work it, and how high is the skill cap in Chocobo Racing.
Another thing that I was kind of thinking about the Gold Saucer is that, throughout the history of this game, they've always built locations with a long-term use. So maybe, the reason why it exists as well is so that, maybe when Heavensward comes out, maybe in the future, the town clothes in all of the areas in Heavensward would be available in the Gold Saucer in the future or something. So there's definitely kind of like a long-term plan here. We're just not given awareness of it. So I feel my personal concern is just I think it's kind of echoed with what Nell was saying in general, is that what is the long-term viability of this in the short term, how often will actually people come back here and kind of waste their time and stuff, as opposed to having the entirety of the Cactuar Plaza or something filled with crafters not actually playing the games.
Oh
so
God, for the love of disable any and all abilities inside there, please.
Oh,
yeah.
God. No crafting, no skill spamming, just lock that all out.
Exactly, right? Because I really love it when, when the Dragoon just keeps spamming their skills, across the, corridor and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Every time you spam Ring of Thorns for no reason, you should lose 10 experience.
Level down.
Oh, that's old. Old school, old.
Yeah.
But, and there's a bunch of other little side mini games as well. From my understanding, Yoshida is a huge basketball fan, and we got basketball throwing in there as well as a mini game.
It looks like it's going to be the mini games are going to be reminiscent actually of the Gathering mini game from 1.0, which I think we've talked about before because it's just so.
It was fun. I liked
the
Gathering mini game.
I remember you guys talking about it, but how did it work? Because, again, I just kind of jumped into 2.0 without having any sort of prior extensive knowledge of 1.0. So how did that
here's
Gathering...
An example.
Okay.
With the original mining one, had a circle that would pulse in and out, and you would hit it, and it would tell you how close you were to something like you were hitting too hard or you're hitting too soft, or and then you adjust it based on that, but you only had X number of swings to get to the target.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
The fishing one was a meter that went across left and right, and you had to time it on the right spot for the right type of fish.
Okay.
And then for botany, it was moving up and down, and again, you had to time it. You had to try to hit the same spot or close enough to the same spot more than once to get what you were going for.
Okay, that sounds pretty fun. It's almost it gives you that old school NES vibe of when you're doing free throws and stuff, an older basketball game. So that's cool.
There was a punching the Greg mini game. What was the other one? There was a third mini game, wasn't there?
There was a Moogle Claw game.
Oh yes, there was the Moogle Claw, which is basically like a crane game, and there's also the old-fashioned strength test where you hit the pad and try to knock out the Moogle on the top.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The developers have said that those are more those are less this is how you're going to get most of your Gold Saucer points, and more, hey, as long as you want to earn a few more, you are waiting for a Chocobo racing queue, just pop in there and test your strength a couple times.
So this is basically the quote-unquote hunt bills of the Gold Saucer then.
Probably. but at least they're going to be more entertaining and don't require you standing around waiting for a fate for hours. Oh, wait! They're adding gold saucer active time events.
However,
Wow.
they've also said those are not going to be rewarding a huge pile of gold saucer points either. So,
What?
again, the main mechanism seems to be either get your Chocobo racing in, do your triple triad, don't,
Don't sit there
Sitting around-
and craft while trying to get free points.
Mhm.
Yes.
That Setzer outfit's going to take a while to earn, I think.
Quite possibly, but we'll find out. We don't know how long it's going to. It could take a few months of dedicated play. It could take a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go and say probably to make the full set, we're probably looking at about a month.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
I think for any of the full sets, you're probably looking at about a month, with the expectation that some people are going to get bored and some people are going to be still playing as we're moving into Heavensward.
Yeah, my assumption is that we're going to be having a cap on the amount that you can get per week. So that way you can't go spam happy like you did with hunts.
That would be nice. However, since none of what you get there is going to have a direct in-game advantage, that means that, I think that they also have a little more incentive to be a bit more liberal with it.
Mm.
Well, it doesn't have any, quote, in-game advantages yet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna,
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say you could technically say that about any system in the game that doesn't have. Oh well, it doesn't have affect this yet. I honestly don't think that is in the cards for the Gold Saucer, because that's just not the sort of content it's aiming at. Let's say.
Fair enough. Speaking with 14 news but not specifically the game itself, we actually were shown a trailer not too long ago. I think you might remember what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
There is a new Final Fantasy Dissidia coming to arcades in Japan, and there's a representative for 14. Yash Tola is making a cameo appearance in the game, and the side of Cosmos really does need a caster. I would say that was a good choice.
It's always Ishtola these days.
Yeah, that is the one thing I did notice, is that she represented them in Curtain Call and now Dissidia.
Man, where can I get my Ida love?
Forget
I want more Ida
there
and
is one
Moonbreeder.
person, and one person only, that should be in Dissidia as an extra character.
Ooh.
We need Hildebrandt.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and his EX finish could be him tripping, falling face first into the ground, then have all the other characters, including Godbert, his mom, the other inspector, all show up and do things.
That would be kind of neat. It's almost like a very kooky Marvel vs. Capcom-y kind of super move and stuff.
Exactly, and it would be fitting for him because he rocketed off.
Again,
yes.
It would be perfectly fitting for him. They got to do that. I mean, even if it's not in the arcade version, when it gets released to consoles, it should.
See, I almost feel, though, that if they want to add Ida, you need to have Papa Limo right next to her to do stuff. I don't know, maybe throw him at people or something like that. I mean, I don't know.
yeah, but I like Ida better.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you never know. It could have Papa Limo in the special.
Yeah.
That's better than Mephilia. Hey, look, I'm going to attack you by calling on my Link Prowl again. Oh no, there's trouble. Let me call in the Warrior of Light.
Hold on, I forgot my... Hey, Warrior of
Your
Light, have you
toaster.
seen my keys?
Have you seen our toaster? I think they left it back at the Waking Sands again.
Oh, my gosh.
But yeah, and we're probably going to get a couple of the other things in the patch, but those are the big things we know about. More relic weapons and all of the mini games in the Gold Saucer. And we have been told also that there will be probably triple triad tables for houses in the future, but they're not in there yet.
Now, the question is, can you watch two other people play, or is it strictly between them?
Not yet, but we have been told that is being a spectator is on the list.
Okay,
Or
that'll be important, because I know Fusion X over at Gamerscape wants to host triple triad tournaments.
Yep.
So, Elliot, would you say that this feature is in the cards? Sorry,
Oh,
it's just-
Alex, you are now one of my favorite
the cards
people.
are on. No, the cards are on that feature. I don't understand what you're talking about.
I love bad puns.
Yeah. I just had to. I was like, okay, needed to do it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. Going back to like the next step in the Zodiac quest line. Like, I don't know if you all noticed, but it was something that me and my Link Shell kind of talked about a lot. And it's that it seems like the progression, like for the relic weapon in general, always alternates from okay, kind of easy to like painstakingly difficult. So like, I would say that since I don't okay, again, I have no experience trying to get the legendary relic weapon, but it feels like this is kind of like that even part of it. So this would be kind of like remotely easier, I suppose. I don't know. That's my prognosis of it.
Well,
But again,
let's see.
we don't know.
We had a huge quest line. Then
That's
3 Thavnarian Mists that you just bought with seals.
That's Zenith. I basically would count it starting like Atma. So like Atma was kind of a pain in the butt. Then Animus, which
really a pain.
Atma, which
and then
was
Novus is a pain.
Real pain. Then we had the doing the books, which the only problem with that really was the huge long fates, like the ones that you would have to sit there for like 2-3 hours and hope to goddess that they would appear. After that, I think the Sphere Scroll was next, where you had to meld materia on and spend millions upon millions of gil or lots and lots of time spirit bonding and hope the heck you don't break most of it. Then farming up 2,000 points of light, which has been since nerfed.
That's the Nexus stuff.
Yeah.
And now we're on essentially Atma and Dungeons, which, by the way, I spent almost 100 runs just on 2 of those items.
But yeah, so kind of like if you look at that progression, like the Atma, Novus, and the Legendary Relic stuff, like those are kind of pain in the butt. And then you take everything in between, like, the Animus and the Nexus progression, it's kind of like, well, this is kind of not too bad.
My only hope is that the weapon glow doesn't get ridiculously out of control again.
I'm not a big fan of weapon glow in general in 14.
I'm going to have to agree there, but it was especially noticeable on the relic weapon because I play Summoner at the moment, okay? And it got to the point where I literally couldn't see the pages on the book, and I was like, how the heck is my character technically supposed to read this to cast spells?
Yeah, I can see that.
The bloom was so bright, you couldn't see anything but the edges of the book.
Well, I mean, there are some dark dungeons and raids, so you need to be able to read them. It's like, it's like one of those, like, worm lights and stuff.
No, it'd be like putting 5 light bulbs right in front of your face.
Okay.
You can see the edges outside the light bulbs, but all you see is light.
Well, that's why the glow went down again. Okay, in hindsight, I went overboard on the book lighting. Try again.
Yep.
I hope that, like, whatever it is maybe just a subtle, slight change and not huge glowing again.
Or, like, at least change the effects of the glow or something, where it's not so, on the actual object itself. Maybe, like, around it, like, have, like, different... Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's...
I'm going to use the tome weapons from Second Coil. Like, the tome weapons from there. The book ones were a decent normal type glow. They didn't actually radiate from the page. They had letters highlighting and rotating when you open the book.
Ah.
So that would be something that would be a decent kind of standard, because they're not really bringing to the forefront this huge mind-bending glow in your face, but something that's still cool and dramatic.
Yeah. I don't know. As I said, I'm not a big fan of having glow on weapons anyway, so.
Alright. Do we know anything else that is coming out in the patch at all as of yet?
No, I can't think. I don't think we've covered most of the stuff that we know so far, and I think there's going to be some mystery left there. I honestly would be surprised if we don't see another drop added to the Crystal Tower weekly upgrade.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're probably going to see the other upgrade item added in, and then
Carbon Twine?
Yeah, Carbon Twine. Thank you. And I think probably right before, with the last patch of this series, before the Fall Part 2, we'll see the encrypted tomestones added.
That would be interesting to see.
I honestly, because they did it, I remember them doing kind of a slow roll in the same way with Circus Tower when that was still the happening thing. So
so the tombstones were the last thing that they actually added to Circus Tower.
I don't remember the exact order they did it.
The tombstones were in before the sand, but the oil was in before the tombstone.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but the point is that I think we're going to see similarly, okay, get another upgrade item, upgrade a little bit more. Now you can upgrade the rest of the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're going to have a couple months in which we can all upgrade to our heart's content before Heavensward comes out and makes it all a complete waste of time.
Yeah, but it keeps people playing, and that's the whole point.
Yeah. It was fun while it lasted. And you got the stuff for glamours.
True enough. So, with that then, let's take a look at some of the comments that we got from last week's episode. Well,
or a couple weeks ago, because...
Technically 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, I got one on Twitter. Why don't you read the one that's on our official episode page?
Okay. Hold on just a second. Let me actually navigate to that. If my internet would stop being terrible. I didn't have this up ahead of time because I'm terrible. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, unprofessional.
That's okay, man.
We are so unpro now, thank you.
I have spent so much time being super, super pro lately. I needed a break. I messed up, okay? I messed up. But yes, on the official page for the last episode, where I remember our question was, should Hildebrand be in the Scions? And we got a comment from Nikki7 Solo saying, I wouldn't count them in with the Scions for the simple reason that they come from another story arc. As collaborators or helpers, sure, but I kind of like the way it works now, and I think seeing Godbert in a more serious scene like in 2.5 would just be distracting. They're great for comic relief, so a crossover arc would be good, just not a permanent thing.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Mura on Twitter says, oh, by the way, I don't think the Mandervilles should be part of the Scions or anything related to the main scenario. They're like your time off away from work friends, maybe crossing paths once in a while where they're referred to as strange.
And I think that's kind of, the stuff that goes on in the Hildebrand storyline is already kind of skirting the edges of just breaking the fourth wall outright. And I like, actually, the way that the game is set up. You can sort of have... On 1 minute you have Hildebrand fighting Greg, and then the next thing you know, you're back to everything being very super serious and very grim.
But you have to know something, that it's really weird when Hildebrand himself is on key, on point, is right, and nobody seems to notice. Alex, did you play through the full storyline yet?
Oh yeah, I mean, that was
the
like
fact
that
Hildebrand said the primal Enkidu,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody said anything or commented on that. How the heck did he know that, one, that Enkidu is a primal, and two, how to summon a primal because of all those crystals?
Yeah, that is quite a curious thing. Like I don't have a background of Hildebrand in like 1.0, so maybe there's something there. Like
No.
I can only surmise. No,
No.
okay. So I don't know. Maybe he's been sneaking around the Waking Sands this whole time, just kind of like I don't know, like maybe. Really, to be honest, though, like I really love like the Hildebrand storyline, and I feel like what a literal an awesome send off it was. Like when you played the end of like 2.5, just seeing him, hint hint, shoot off in the sky, kind of thing. And I almost feel like one of the random like floating continents in Heaven's Word is gonna have him just sunk in the ground again or something.
That would be
Here's
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then the developers have asked if people want to see more Hildebrand, and the reception has largely been positive for him, with a few people being all.
I was in that room. I knew what that was. It was a thunderous like cheer of like when he asked that question like, "Do you want to see him in Heaven's Ward?" Everybody's like, "Yeah." I'm like, oh, "Okay, all right, cool. We're gonna continue this."
Yeah.
I know. I was in the front row for that.
Oh, it was so awesome.
Oh, that was amazing. But before we go, since you were also at FanFest, what's your favorite memory from it?
Oh, geez. I met so many awesome people at FanFest. Like, I met, Nero doesn't remember like when me, him, and like Joe Never Fails just basically were like crowding the front on like I think it was a Sunday. We're trying to get like Yoshi P to like sign all our all our paraphernalia. And that's and that was just kind of like one of the many memories is that I met so many awesome like Final Fantasy 14 players, even people from my server. And mind you, like I'm on Mateus, and that's like one of the smallest servers in the game. But we still came in and represented our small server, and I started meeting people from different FCs, and that was a really great way to kind of encourage a lot of people to kind of branch out and meet other people and really kind of talk about their experiences with the game, and above all else, like the fact that the developers themselves are just freely running around, actually playing the game with other people, signing autographs. I mean, it's just, I think that whole trip to like Vegas was so worth it. And I'm actually really sad that we're not going to get one this year.
Yeah, my understanding though is they're going to be doing it every time they're going to announce something big, like most likely expansions and stuff. So I can understand why they don't want to host it all the time. It just felt like the North American one, though, was rushed compared to the other two.
Yeah, I agree.
They also, I think they kind of rushed the whole thing, and they had the biggest thing is, they had more time to prepare for the Japanese Fan Fest. Mm-hmm. I think part of it, part of the issue when it came to the North American one is that North America had the least interesting announcement insofar as it was just, announcing that the expansion was coming, which we all
already knew. And then
literally everybody knew.
London got one job announcement, and Japan got two.
Yeah.
Although technically they spoiled one for us, but it's not the same as a reveal trailer.
It's not. And, kind of along those same lines, I have it in good authority to actually say that the reason why the fan fests are the way that they are is because the local marketing teams for each of the regions were responsible for how their fan fests were going to be. So this is kind of, I mean, obviously, like Yoshi P and all those guys are kind of working with the marketing teams, but in general, like, how big the events were, generally, like, the local teams were responsible for it.
I see. And there was a London meetup just recently, too, built just for the fans and by the fans, so it's a shame we can't really do something like that for North America because of how big it is.
Yeah. Well, let's think about this for a second, though. Let's take a step back, because we just also discovered that Yoshi P was going to have a Heavensward panel in the upcoming PAX show.
Yep.
And
I will be there.
Oh, you will be there. Okay.
Yes,
That's
I will
exciting.
I will indeed be there.
That's awesome. I have this weird feeling that we're going to get two things there. One, finally, what Final Fantasy we're going to get that they're going to be aping for the new 24-man raid. and Heavensward, and the other one would be like the release date.
I'm pretty sure we're going to get the release date. I don't think we're going to get the next 24-person announcement. I think we're going to get another job announcement. I think we're going to be getting more than we've already been told.
Well, my assumption is that looking at the art book. Now, did you pick that up at FanFest?
Oh yeah, totally.
Did you notice that there's a rapier class on the cover?
Yeah, the fencer. Yeah.
I'm hoping that that's red/blue mage.
I seriously predict I can totally see, Fencer as the new class, Red Mage as the melee-oriented version, and possibly Blue Mage as the caster-oriented version, or something.
No, I would see it be more the other way around. Because the Red Mage has always been known for more spells, and Blue Mage has been more for combat and enemy skills.
It could go either way. We'll see, but I honestly do believe that we're going to be getting more jobs than we currently have. So,
well, my take on the whole Red Mage thing is that if you go all the way back to Final Fantasy 1, they did have like a plethora of spells between the black and a white mage and stuff, but they also have pretty decent, like strength abilities.
Yeah, so they were the second best sword user next to warriors, obviously.
Yeah, so I'm kind of...
Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if we were, obviously in 11, they really kind of had their role as primarily mages, but usually when they show up, they have a fair number of spells. In 11, they also had the various end spells, and they tend to be pretty decent in close combat. So I can see them, having the same sort of Arcanist split where one side is more strength-oriented and the other side is more int-oriented.
Yeah, that's true. But we won't know that for sure if that's even going to be a thing until the PAX panel.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I will be there and reporting for Massively Overpowered, so.
Ooh.
It's a shame I can't go there on behalf of Chocobo Dash.
Yeah. Unfortunately. But we'll find out what happens then in just a couple weeks. So right now, our eyes are on the Gold Saucer tomorrow-ish.
Alright then. With that in mind, you can follow both of us on Twitter as well as our guest. I'm at Nell Celestine.
I'm at Elliot_Lefebvre.
And my Twitter handle is MyBacklogBattle, and you can go follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/backlogbattle_Alex.
As always, leave any positive or negative comments in the box below. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, I do have a Twitch channel as well. Twitch.tv/NellCelestine. Elliot, I don't think you have a Twitch channel yet.
No, I do not.
Okay. Alex, we need to get together and stream something sometime.
We should. We need to figure that part out.
I don't have a PS4, so whatever it have to be, it would have to be PC.
Okay, we'll figure that out.
Alright. So, thank you very much for tuning in. This is Nell Celestine.
And this is Elliot Lefebvre.
And this is Alex.
Bidding you
adieu.
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 And outro.
I'm going to get going as well. I need to help some show people out. So thanks for having me. That was really fun. Hopefully, when Heavensward comes out, we can probably do this again or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Anytime you guys want. Anytime you want. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you very much, everybody. Take care.
See you guys.
Thanks for watching the chat.
Later.
Bye-bye.